A little bit about National Grid. We are a 50-50 company, so half of our business is basically in the UK and half of it is in the US. We own and operate a distribution network in the UK, which is mostly gas, and in the US we serve across 4 states, Massachusetts, New York, Rhode Island, and some of New Hampshire. The lessons that we've learned from our UK model are around smart metering, to which I used to run the UK program. So a number of people ask me, well, what is smart grid? You know, what do we mean by smart grid? There are multiple different definitions as you go across the US, and the DOE have their own version of what smart grid is. For us, we try to simplify it from the point of view of it's a technology that provides you with sensing information, measurement information, and that works at 2 ends of the energy chain, both from the way that the network operates, but also, and I think most importantly, picking up from James's point, in terms of what the customer experience will be. The smart grid story for us started with an analysis of how we thought the markets would change. So when we're making investments for our assets, those assets can often last 20, 30, 40 years in the field. And that is essentially the service platform that National Grid utilizes to deliver energy. Our assessment, taken some 2 years ago, amongst other utilities as well, is that we're going to see a fundamental shift in the way that energy is both generated and then utilized. So the drawing on the right-hand side, as you look at it, really represents what we think is the traditional approach towards electricity. It's a central generation model where power is transmitted to customers through transmission to distribution. It's a one-way flow of energy. The market that we see evolving is going to be a two-way market where you will still have centralized generation, but you'll also have renewable generation embedded inside the distribution networks. So customers will take advantage of the green energy revolution in several different ways. So we imagine that electricity generation will take the form of solar, wind, as well as centralized generation. But we're also going to see other technologies emerge. Something like 30% of carbon emitted is associated with vehicle transport. So the plug-in hybrid electric vehicles and electric vehicle revolution that we're going to see happening will also be impacted in terms of how electricity is managed. So imagine a world where you can plug your car in at home, charge it overnight, take advantage of different tariffs, and in the future, you may well be able to export energy that you've charged from the vehicle back to the grid. So this two-way flow of energy, which is going to be a feature of the new market, puts particular pressures on any electricity distribution network and creates new data challenges as well. The assessment that we'd done of the market, which was about 2 years ago, we then started seeing some legislative instruments coming forward which created the environment to turn those into real pilots. And Massachusetts took a leading role in this. So the Green Communities Act, a piece of landmark legislation, identified a number of changes that were going to happen in the Massachusetts market, and then addressed both renewables and gave the framework for utility companies to put in a proposal for smart grid pilots. This happened before the ARRA or stimulus bill, and I think that Massachusetts showed real leadership in the approach that it was taking towards energy. The stimulus bill that came forward had got some $4 billion of funds allocated to smart grid. The process is live right now. Utilities and other market participants have the opportunity to create a proposal to go to get matching funds from this $4 billion fund. The individual programs were capped out, and around $200 million is available for programs to support these goals. So we're seeing some real change in the federal policy and state policy to try and meet future environmental requirements. And we think that there's going to be a sea change in the way that the energy markets are going to evolve. So our smart grid proposal looks at putting a digital data network over the existing electricity infrastructure, providing tools to customers to be able to better manage their energy, and also, most importantly, providing connectivity for renewables to link in to the distribution network. It's going to be a journey with several different routes and options, but the approach that we've taken with our smart grid proposal is to try and create a holistic, integrated approach. So there are three main components of a smart grid for us. One is the actual meters, the metrology. Today, the type of meters that are installed in customers and business properties generally get read once a month, and then from that we provide a totalized energy bill on a monthly basis. But that bill, when it comes through the door, paper-based, has got information on it, but it's only once a month that you get it. In the future, we anticipate customers will be able to get a granular review of the energy that they've used. And I think most importantly, to pick up the human aspects, they'll get it in the format that they would like to receive it in. So for our proposal, we are anticipating using the web, of course. We'll also be using text messaging to mobile phones, and we'll be providing customers with a home display unit to be able to see their energy usage in situ. So our view really is that the individual interfaces are as important as the data that's provided. Most importantly, the meter, the smart meter, will be able to look at data on a half-hourly basis. So you can really truly understand, rather than just a once-a-month snapshot, you can see how much energy is used at what time of day. It will also enable us to create new tariffs. So much of the same as the revolution went in telephony, where people could have minute-by-minute billing, and you could have online billing as well, the same will apply to the energy market. In terms of the grid will have advanced sensing and switching capability embedded into it. This will enable us to manage energy flows from the renewable generation and from customer-owned generation as well. It also gives us an opportunity to improve the efficiency of the way that the grid is planned and operated, because the engineers will have true knowledge of what's happening at individual parts of the network. To the home, we've talked a little bit about the display of information, the provision of information, but I think another exciting element of our program is that when we undertook customer research, we found a number of customers who said, we really do want to have better information. We want to have some form of incentive in terms of the types of tariffs that you could offer, so an off-peak, on-peak type tariffing. But we also found a substantial amount of customers who said, I don't really want to come in every night and think about this. Can you just automate it for us? So some of the opportunities that we've seen with regard to appliances and home automation, which can be linked together with the smart grid, may mean that the customers could have the system optimized on their own behalf. It truly is a significant shift in the way that energy will be utilized and the data that will come from those programs.